Kuzozambola, Bhutan e-learning project welcomes students of class 9 and 10 in this geography lesson. The topic of this lesson is gross national happiness. I'm very much confident that many of us, including your parents, your near and dear ones, know many things about GNH. And today I would like to precisely bring to you the concept of GNH, concept of gross domestic product, and differentiate between gross national happiness and gross domestic product. To begin with now, let us look into the very big philosophy, the broad philosophy of gross national happiness. Bhutan is known to the world for being the ambassador of very unique philosophy of gross national happiness. Gross national happiness is a term coined by His Majesty the King Jigme Singye Wangchuck in 1970s. When His Majesty spoke about GNH at that time, he questioned the prevailing measurement system that can gross domestic product alone could deliver happiness and well-being to society. Thus, the need for Bhutan to take a holistic approach to development activities of the country was felt and philosophy of GNH was coined. Then, what is gross national happiness? The GNH philosophy is based on the idea that sustainable development should take a holistic approach towards notions of progress and give equal importance to economic aspects of well-being. Basically, it means the development with values. When I define to you the concept of gross national happiness, I mentioned a term called sustainable development. Let's take an example. The natural resources that we have, like forest cover, mineral deposits, and land, should be used in such a way that it is available to our younger generation for many years down the line. We cannot become greedy at this moment, use all the natural resources, and leave nothing for our younger generation. This concept is called sustainable development. Now let us look at how GNH ensures that our developmental activities, our way of living are sustainable and holistic. Bhutan's development efforts are based on GNH and the pursuits of 4 pillars. GNH and its 4 pillars are operationalized through the national development process. For instance, all our development plans and programs in current 5-year plan are formulated based on the 4 pillars of GNH. What are the 4 pillars of GNH? The 4 pillars of GNH are sustainable socio-economic development, preservation and promotion of culture, environmental conservation, and good governance. These are the 4 pillars that supports the whole and the broad idea of gross national happiness. Now let us look at the 4 pillars in turn. First, when I talk about sustainable socio-economic development, we need to understand the term sustainability. Stands for the moral responsibility of each generation to ensure that its comfort do not come at the cost of less opportunities and resources for future generation. And we need to again look at word equity. What is equity? Equity means that benefits of development must be equitably distributed across all sectors at regional and community level. Now, let's look at the second pillar of gross national happiness is preservation and promotion of culture. Culture is seen by GNH as a set of tools that defines our values, right? Shapes our identity as a Palindrukpa and guides our behavior and relationship practices. So therefore, happiness is believed to be contributed by preserving the Bhutanese culture. So here the key terms are our identity, our values, our behaviors, our relationship, and our practices. Now, let us talk about the third pillar of gross national happiness. The dynamic space in which we all live, insisting that our way of life should accommodate with nature and aspiring for man to live in harmony. So that is the big concept of environmental conservation. And the fourth important pillar of gross national happiness is good governance. Good governance is considered a pivotal pillar of GNH since it is the key to ensure the strength of other pillars. We have been discussing about 4 pillars of GNH, gross national happiness. You may be thinking that, oh, this is a very big idea. It may be very difficult to measure this, but let me present to you the 9 domains of GNH so that you will get convinced, oh, gross national happiness can be measured like gross domestic product. Now let us discuss the 9 domains of GNH. The 9 domains of GNH are: first, living standard, education, health, environment, community vitality, time use, psychological well-being, good governance, cultural resilience, and promotion. These are the domains that will take care of 4 pillars. The 4 pillars, when the 4 pillars are taken well care, it will take care of the overall happiness of the country. Now, let me discuss in brief what are 9 domains of gross national happiness. As I said, the first domain is living standard, which comprises of both cash and non-cash income. Therefore, GNH policies ensure that accessibility to all kinds of resources like assets and household per capita income, which will have to improve the living standard of people living in the country. That is all about living standard. Now, the second domain, it is education. Education contributes to the knowledge, values, creativity, skills, human capital, and civic sensibility of citizens. It strongly boosts the nation's economy, enables efficient and wise decision making. Therefore, accessibility and affordability of right set of education for all people is the tool or domain to achieve gross national happiness. That is why Bhutan is known to other countries as a country, though a developing country, who is providing education free of cost to all the students of Bhutan. Isn't that amazing? We are getting free education because our one domain of gross national happiness says that education should be made accessible and affordable. Now, the third important, again, another important domain is health. People keep on saying, "Kadebe you?" When we ask this question, we get the common response. "Lula nasami semna donge mi," which roughly translates to no physical illness and no mental worries. This correlates with WHO's definition of health. Is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So that exactly correlates with WHO's definition of health. Now, the fifth domain of gross national happiness is environment. Environment plays a vital role in the happiness of people living in it. Quality of environment determines the quality of air, water, and soil. Thus, it directly relates to quality of life, which translates to happiness of the people. Therefore, GNH philosophy puts environment as an important factor for happiness of the people. Now, let us look at the sixth domain, that is community vitality. What is community vitality? Community, which means people living around like in village, like our neighborhood. What is vitality? The relationship, the strength of relationship. Community vitality's domain focuses on the strengths and weaknesses of relationships and interactions within the community. We say, as a Bhutanese, we put others in front of ourselves. So that shows that we are strongly connected in community, in family, and as a nation. Therefore, community vitality is an important aspect. So now, let us look at another domain, that is time use. So this domain attempts to analyze the nature of time spent on work, non-work, and sleep, and highlights the importance of maintaining a harmonious work-life balance. Yeah. Now let me connect to another important domain, that is psychological well-being. The domain attempts to understand how people experience the quality of their lives. It includes reflective evaluation, such as life satisfaction, effective reactions to the life, such as positive and negative emotions. It also covers the spirituality. Psychological well-being is becoming an issue in this contemporary world, where in the process of busy and hustles and bustle of life, we compromise ourselves. We compromise ourselves in terms of our well-being. Therefore, GNH realizes that in the big rush, we may compromise ourselves, which may compromise the quality and the happiness of our life. Therefore, this is another important domain of gross national happiness. Now, good governance is another domain. This domain of good governance evaluates how people perceive various governmental functions in terms of their efficacy, honesty, quality. This indicator will help us to evaluate the level of participation in government decisions at local level and at presence of various rights and freedom. So this ensures that people's participation in decision making, in nation building, plays the most important priority to give happiness to the people. Therefore, it is another domain of national happiness. And the last domain is cultural resilience. The culture domains look at diversity and strength of cultural traditions, including festivals, norms, creative arts. So now, having said this, there are studies that shows that wealth alone does not contribute to life satisfaction or happiness. So therefore, GNH measures the quality of its development in a more holistic way and believes that beneficial development of human society takes place when materials and spiritual development occurs side by side. So these are all about gross national happiness. Gross domestic product is a monetary value of all finished products and services made within a country during a specific period. GDP provides an economic snapshot of a country. This snapshot is used to estimate the size of the economy and the growth rate. GDP can be calculated in three ways. One is using expenditure, production, and income. So now, if we look back to the modern history, societal progress has been measured in terms of GDP. The higher the GDP, the more developed a country. It has become a general belief, and there was a mad rush for increasing their GDP, and over the time, GDP came to be seen as substitute for societal well-being, though something it was never designed to be. So now, if you look at the two big concepts, gross national happiness, gross domestic product, then you will see some differences. But at the moment in Bhutan, we have a guiding philosophy of gross national happiness that is implemented not only in societal aspects, but also in economic plans, priorities. Now, you must realize the issues that we are facing. The world is facing a number of urgent challenges. It includes the threats of climate change, environmental pollution, social disruption, cultural disintegration, corruption, political instability, and this should not be the problems of the future. Therefore, gross national happiness is bringing all these aspects together, considering the material growth, but sustainably, considering the psychosocial aspects. When all these are put together, it makes the life a beautiful one. Now with this, let me provide few things that you can explore easily. You can browse YouTube. You can browse internet, Google. You can read from the pages of the book to do the small work that I'm going to give. The first question, as you can see on the screen, is GNH is important than GDP for Bhutan. This is the statement. You need to explain this statement in not less than 100 words. And the second question, as you can see on the screen again, how is GNH different from GDP? There is a big difference there. And you need to write a point and explain with examples. Today, in this lesson, I try to convince you the big philosophy of gross national happiness and gross domestic product. With this, enjoy your day and have a nice time with your family. Don't forget to be good girls and boys and keep on exploring the things. Thank you very much. Kadinche.